Hi designers! In this video you'll be using the selection tools to create an art history mashup of 4 different artworks. Once you've downloaded these 4 artworks from Myalu Studio, go to your exercise files folder where you should have saved the artworks. Select all of these artworks by holding Command on your keyboard and clicking on them. Hold Control on your keyboard and select Open with Photoshop. You can see my images came up very quickly because I already had Photoshop running. We're going to start with Starry Night as our background, and we're going to use the selection tools over here on the top of your toolbar to add the other images in. Let me just start with the marquee tool here. The marquee tools, you can see if you click and hold, there's actually several shapes of marquee tool that you could use. Let's try the elliptical marquee tool. Go over to the creation of Adam and I want you to select this angel's face right here. You can see as I click and drag, it gives me an outline of the selection area that I'm going to have. Once you have the angel's face selected, come up to Edit, select Copy, then click the tab that says Van Gogh Starry Night, come back up to Edit, and select Paste. You'll see that it put the angel's face right in the center of the artwork. If I want to move that, I use the Move tool at the top of the toolbar, and I can move her face around anywhere that I'd like. As you can see, that wasn't in the original that I showed you at the very beginning, but I wanted to show you how to use the marquee tool. The next tool that we're going to use is my favorite tool called the Quick Selection tool. It's the 4th down on the toolbar, and you might see it look like this, or it might look like the Magic Wand tool. There's actually 2 tools here piled on top of each other. You can also use the shortcut W on your keyboard. We're going to select Michelangelo's sculpture of David using the Quick Selection tool. All you do is hold down your mouse button as you select the area of David that you want to copy over into Van Gogh's Starry Night, and you'll notice you'll get a little extra, usually this area of the architecture and this area in between his arm and his chest. To subtract that area, you want to hold the Option key on your keyboard, and again, just go over that area that you want to subtract out. Now you'll notice my brush on my Quick Selection tool is quite small. Up here on the options bar, you need to set the size of your brush to around 10. You might want to go a little bit smaller. You can't go much bigger because otherwise you won't be getting the detail that you want. If I go back to the David, you can see here I've not selected his face, so I can go ahead and add that in. Oop, got a little bit too much. Hold Option and subtract that out. Make sure you have a nice smooth outline all the way around David, getting all of the different parts of the statue. Then when you're ready, you can come up to Edit, select Copy, click on the tab of Van Gogh's Starry Night, go back to Edit, and click Paste. Now as you work in Photoshop, you'll learn the shortcuts for copy and paste because you'll be using them all the time. The shortcut for copy is Command C, the shortcut for paste is Command V. But if you forget that, just always know you can go up to Edit and select it from the drop-down menu. So here we have David. Now we want to reposition him, so we're going to use the Move tool to move him over here. Make sure you place him somewhere in the bottom so that he isn't floating around without his legs. Just looks like he's in the photo, or in the painting actually. Now he's a little bit small, so the Move tool has this option called Show Transform Controls. Click this up in the options bar, and then you can resize David to be a little bit more proportional to our painting here. When you're done, hit Return on your keyboard and click off of the Show Transform Controls. Alright, we've got 2 images already. We've got a couple more to do. Click on the creation of Adam. This is the famous painting from the Sistine Chapel. Now you can see we already have this selection going here, so I want to deselect that, and the shortcut for deselect is Command D on the keyboard, and that will always get rid of any selection outline that you don't want. For this one, I want you to try the magnetic lasso tool. There's 3 different lasso tools. The regular lasso tool allows you to freehand draw your selection. So if we were just selecting this roughly, this would be a great tool. But it's pretty hard to draw with a mouse right around the edge here. That's where we're going to use the magnetic lasso tool. But first, let me show you the polygonal lasso tool. It allows you to click and make straight lines of your selection tool. As you can see, this would be really good for a geometric shape. And again, anytime you need to deselect, you can hit Command D on your keyboard. But we're going to use the magnetic lasso tool. So click, and as you go around, the magnetic lasso tool is going to grab the edge, and you're going to go all the way around. This is the figure of God here creating Adam at the beginning of the world. You can see it doesn't quite do so well with small areas like the fingers. We're going to go back and pick that up later. Takes a little bit of patience. You have to go slowly with this tool. You can also see it doesn't work well on fuzzy edges. But anything that has a defined edge, this works quite well. Again, copy. I'm going to use Command C on my keyboard and paste this into Van Gogh's Starry Night. And there we go. Now I needed to go back and get God's hand. You're going to need to do that on your own. You can use the quick selection tool to do that. For the sake of time, I'm just going to go quickly through these different things. You can place God anywhere you want in this painting. You decide the composition, whether he's trying to touch David or point at David, that's fine. The last thing that we have is Andy Warhol's soup cans. Now, I want to show you the magic wand tool with this one because this has a flat background. The magic wand tool will select all the colors in a range. So if I click on red, it's going to select that whole red shape. For images like this that have a flat background, it's really great to use the magic wand tool because in one click you can get the whole selection. You don't have to go around the edge so carefully with the magnetic lasso tool. Now, I just selected the background. If I were to copy and paste this, it would just give me the white of the background, which this is kind of cool, but that's not really what I'm looking for. So I'm going to undo that, go up to Edit, Undo, go back to the soup cans, and I'm going to select, go up here to the menu, Select Inverse. That switched my selection so that I just have the soup can selected. Now I can copy Command C on my keyboard and paste it into Starry Night. This is a high resolution image, so there's going to be very large. So when I use the Move tool, again select Show Transform Controls, move it over and resize it smaller. So that's how you use the selection tools and the move tool. Again, this is the move tool up at the top of the keyboard. You have your marquee tools, your lasso tools, and your magic wand and quick selection tool.